Hi, my name is Brandon Fertig. I'm 34 years old. I am from the United States. I currently live in the United States. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minnesota is a state in the north central part of the country bordering Canada. My story for you today is about travel and the people we meet, and how the people we meet, even in just in the most random circumstances, can have a big impact on our lives and be the source for really incredible stories. Mine starts in January of 2014. That month I went to Tanzania, East Africa. I was to live there for about 8 months, working in a village school, helping to start a computer program. So I had 12 laptops in my luggage, ready to go. But before I left, I was still in Minneapolis, and I was going to wash my car. Now, I needed to wash my car because I was going to sell it, and I was going to sell it because I really had nowhere to put it for the time I was going to be gone, plus the money was to be used for my trip. So I went to the car wash in Minneapolis, which was one of those types of car washes where you pull up to the garage door opening and the workers get inside, clean it, it goes through a machine and it comes out the other side and they wipe it down and you're good to go. While they were washing it, I went inside to pay, and as I was paying the woman, she said hello to someone behind me, and I turned around and I see this tall black man. He had an eye patch, and I thought, this is kind of, you don't see a lot of eye patches these days. So after he said hello, he went inside the car wash, and I asked her if he works here, and she said yes. I asked the lady who I was paying, and she said yes, he's from Uganda. And I said, really? In like 5 days I'm going to go to Tanzania, and then I'm going to travel around the region, and I might swing by Uganda. So she comes out from her booth and walks into the car wash, and she says, Yusuf, this man is going to Uganda. So he walks over to me and says hello, and we engage in a conversation. After him telling me the city he's from and that his sons are there, I think to ask, might I be able to look them up if I go? Because I'm usually looking for contacts in the region where I travel. And he got very excited about this. He thought it was wonderful. I think that, I'm not exactly sure why he was so excited. I don't know if the shoes were on the other foot, if situations were reversed, if it would be the same thing. But all I know is that he was really excited that this Minnesotan, this American, wanted to see his sons in his home country. So he gave me his son's numbers, and I thought, well, it's a long shot, but if I make it through their town, Jinja, Uganda, I'll give them a call, and if they're interested in showing me around, that would be wonderful. So before I left the car wash, I got a picture with Yusuf, and I'll show it to you right now here. Hopefully it's visible on the camera. That's me on the right, and him on the left. So I get to Africa, and I'm there for several months. In fact, my stay is delayed a couple of months. I end up staying longer than I planned. The whole time I'm kind of wondering once in a while if I'll ever get to Uganda. And I'm wondering if his sons are wondering where I am, because I said if I was going to be there it would be in the summer. But now it's the fall. And I do end up going to Uganda. I travel around Lake Victoria and go to Kampala, and I get my phone working in Uganda, and once I do, I call the numbers that he'd given me, that their father had given me, and I dial the numbers, and the phone rings, and the guy picks up. Hello. Hi. You don't know me. My name is Brandon. I'm from the United States. I met your father last January, just before I came out here. Yes, Brendan, we've been waiting for you. Oh, okay. So their father had told his sons that their father had told them that I would be arriving. I was a couple of months after I said I was going to be there, but they nonetheless were happy to get my call, and then we ended up meeting up in Jinja, where they drove me around and showed me the area. They showed me their fish farming operation, which I thought was really interesting. They have these large cages in Lake Victoria, on the north shore of Lake Victoria, well, actually right next to the Nile River headwaters. And they're growing all these tilapia in these cages. They have thousands of tilapia in these large cages floating on the surface. I took video, I took lots of pictures. They're in contact with their dad over the phone, and they let him know I had arrived, and it was just a really cool connection for him to have someone that he knew or that he met go out and to see his sons, whom he hasn't seen, by the way, in I think 16 years at the time. This was at the very end of my trip to Africa, and at around the 9-month mark I fly back to Minneapolis. I end up eventually buying another car. It ends up a week or so later needing to have a car wash. So I take it back to the same car wash, and wouldn't you know it, Yusuf is working. So I say hello, his face lights up, he knows I visited his sons, and we plan a time for me to show him the footage and the photos that I had taken when I was with his boys in Jinja, Uganda. And by the way, I got a picture of me and his sons in Africa, in Uganda. And this was one of the pictures that I showed Yusuf. A couple of days later, when we planned to have coffee, we went to a coffee shop, and there I sat down with him and showed him the footage and the pictures that I took of his sons and of his family. And this is a photograph of him looking at pictures of his relatives, whom again he hasn't seen in a long time. When he saw the footage of his son's fishing operation, he finally understood what it looked like. They had tried to describe it to him over the phone, but he didn't quite understand it. He said how grateful he was to be able to finally see what his sons are doing on the other side of the world. So I guess the lesson I took from that was, well, one, I mean, travel just opens me up and opens most people up, I think, when they do so, in such a way where you'll just go along for the ride no matter where life takes you. It's really a remarkable way of living in that journey, to take those journeys and be up for anything. But also how the people we meet, even at a car wash, can have big impacts on both people. It was remarkable to be able to be part of this experience, to connect father to son and then go back to father again. And then of course it was just really cool to have a connection in Jinja and see this fish farming operation on Lake Victoria. So I guess I would say to you, if you care for any advice, if you're not already traveling, that you should. And if you do have an open mind and a willingness to talk to anyone around you. And then what I learned, of course, was that you don't need to wait to travel to have that openness, that I had it back in my hometown before I even left. And that even a worker at a car wash can have life-changing impact for you and that person. Thanks for letting me be a part of this project. It's my honor to be able to contribute. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye. I realize I forgot a couple of the finishing questions. So, what is your favorite country or place to live? You know, I think I have to say home sweet home, and I've lived in a few countries, but the one I have liked best is my home country, the US. So if I had to choose, that's what I would say for that. A country you want to move in the future, just in your dreams? That's a great one. There are several countries that I want to visit and see what it's like to live there. I guess the one that comes to mind right now is Brazil. And then what is your dream? How do you imagine your future? Well, my dream is to write for a living, and I have written one book about a year I lived in China, and I will be writing another about my experience in East Africa, including the story of the father and the sons that I met while traveling through Uganda. And it's my dream, and I hope it's my future, to be able to write for a living, whether it's about travel. I also write about social issues in the U.S. and global issues as well. I want to have a successful website. I write a blog at theperiphery.com. So I hope that becomes successful. I hope my writing becomes successful. I hope I can write for many publications. And speak. I love to speak and present about my travels and about different topics that I enjoy writing about. So this video was very appropriate for what I hope to do. So thanks again. Bye.